out the biggest winners and losers here of the preseason, because so let's be honest, there's people that look very good after this, and there's people that look very not good after this. So PFF gave its full breakdown of all the members of the Giants based on what they did in the 3 games. Now, keep in mind when you see this, they're not going to go over with you guys every single player as far as how many snaps they played, when they played, did they go against the ones, did they go against the twos, all that kind of stuff. So there is a couple of things you got to look at with a grain of salt on that. So, the first thing, let's talk about the top 5 members of offense here. Bryan Hudson, the offensive lineman, actually had the highest 90.1 PFF grade. I was a little shocked by that one there. But again, obviously he wasn't playing exactly the top, tier talents there in the preseason action there. Number 2, already see you guys talking about him in the chat here. Jaxson Dart with an 84.7. You gotta love it when like your second greatest PFF grade of all of the offense is a rookie quarterback. Like that's absolutely crazy. And I see Jay asking here, good question. He says, Drew, if they redid the draft today, would Dart go top 10? I'm going to say this to you, and this may sound a little crazy, but Cam Moore did not look good in preseason. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that he was that Jaxson Dart is the best player in this draft. But I will say this, based on what I saw of Cam Ward in this preseason, Jaxson Dart looked better. And you could make the case that if that were to continue, Jaxson Dart would potentially have been the top overall pick in this draft. Not just top 10, like you said, Jay, top overall pick in this draft. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Time will tell. I mean, let's be honest. If you told me that a couple months ago that I thought Jaxson Dart would have a better career than Cam Ward, I would have said you're lying. There's no way I would think that. Cam Ward's the better prospect. But so far, and it's a very small smidge of their careers. That's where we're at. So yeah, would he be top 10? He'd be number 1 right now. Because Cam Ward would not have gone number 1 based on how they played in the preseason. Um, so like I said, we'll see. There's a lot of football left. There's a lot of football left. So third up on top 5 offensive players, Aaron Stinnie, the guard, 81.8. So as a guy is kind of a borderline. But I'm seeing other people do their breakdowns of who they think will make the 53. Some have Stinnie, some don't have Stinnie. But according to the numbers, according to PFF, which is a great way of looking at least stats for offensive linemen, he had a pretty damn good preseason there. Russell Wilson, who Jason Russ surprise cut. No, he's not getting cut. But he did have an 81.7 PFF grade in his limited time out there on the field. And number 5, third quarterback, Tommy DeVito with an 80.4 PFF grade. Guys, listen, I'm seeing people do all kinds of clickbait stuff right now talking about Tommy DeVito. Can he be a Giant? Will he be a Giant? Will the Giants trade Tommy DeVito? Guys, no one's trading for Tommy DeVito. Like, if you didn't hear yet, you just saw tonight a trade where Kenny Pickett got traded to the Raiders. And it's like a 5th or 6th round draft pick. If Kenny Pickett, who was a first round pick a couple years ago, is only worth that, what do you think Tommy DeVito's worth? Like, seriously, what do you think Tommy DeVito is worth then? He's not worth it. And no disrespect to the man. I hope he has a long career in the NFL. Seems like a great kid. Nice story a couple years ago with the Giants, obviously. But do you really think that if Kenny Pickett's only worth a 5th or a 6th, that you can get anything at all for DeVito? He's going to get cut probably. And they might try to sneak him onto the practice squad, but I got to think some team's going to want him. So, like I said, hope all the best for Tommy DeVito. If I'm right, and that's what happens, today is his last day potentially as a New York Giant. Let's get into the bottom 5, though, guys, because this is where it gets a little bit sad. We've been talking all along about if you want to win in football, you need a quarterback. But besides that, you have to control the line of scrimmage. You need an offensive line and a defensive line. Well, our bottom five in offense, Jon Runyan Jr. with a 47.7 PFF grade. Huh. Evan Neal, the burger flipper himself, with a 48.2 PFF grade. Guys, it looks like the move shouldn't have been to guard, but it should have been to his local Burger King, that's for sure. Third worst, and they're listing him as a fullback here. So this is specifically as a fullback. Elijah Chapman with a 48.5. So again, that doesn't include what he does in the defensive line. I'm okay with this. Like I said, I'm okay with this because he hasn't played the position in so long. I don't care. Um, number 4, wide receiver Daquan Felton, 51.2. He won't make the roster. It doesn't matter. Number 5, James Hudson III with a 52.9. So, yeah, a lot of linemen, but also a couple of them guys we're counting on. I mean, Jon Runyan Jr., again, is going to be a starter at the left guard position. Evan Neal, you could say, could potentially be the top backup guard, which is kind of a scary thought there. But, depending on what happens with Stinnie, it's not like we have a ton of options here, guys. There's not like there's 10,000 different players that we could go after on this offensive line to start at guard. Crazy. That's where it's at. The depth still not 100% great on the offensive line. Better, not great. Let's get to the defense. Top 5 defensive players according to PFF from our preseason. Number 1, and this was a little bit of a shocker for me, a guy that's been in a battle for a potential starting position here all off season. Cornerback Cordell Flott with a 92.3 PFF grade, which is just absolutely goddamn insane, guys. Absolutely. Number 2, guy who's trying to earn the money he's got in this big contract here. And that's edge / linebacker Brian Burns with an 83.9. Then you got Trace Ford, the UDFA, and this is a guy that we talked about it. We talked about our potential cuts there. That this is a guy the Giants want to keep. He played really good in that third preseason game again, and I think he's probably played his way where the Giants are going to have a little trouble trying to sneak him onto a practice squad. They might have to keep him, and that's Trace Ford. So that's going to be an interesting one there. The fourth one, DJ Davidson with a 78.8. And this is a guy, again, that we didn't think was going to make the roster. Maybe he sneaks his way on now. Maybe somebody else is going to be on the bottom 5. Got bumped here because he hasn't played well in the preseason. Another defensive lineman, Roy Robertson Harris with the 77. Now, the bottom 5. First one is a guy that should have been gone, quite frankly, years ago. Defensive lineman Jordan Riley with a 37.7. That is absolutely the worst PFF grade of any of our players in the entire preseason, by far. So, second up, Chris Board with a 45.2. Another guy that I'm not too concerned with. He kind of goes in the category of Elijah Chapman because we're never going to see him on defense, guys. He's a special teams guy. That's what he is. Third one, and this third and fourth kind of go together as two guys that really disappointing flat out. Third is Raheem Nunez Roches with a 50.2. And number 4, Jeremiah Ledbetter with a 51.1. Two guys we really were counting on to do something for this defensive line, guys. And not looking good. Not looking good at all. So I'm not so sure that those guys do make it after all on this roster. Like I said, Ledbetter was a guy we thought would make this roster. But it looks like what you may end up seeing instead is seeing, DJ Davidson making this roster, which is a little shocking to myself there. It's not what I expected to see at all. Now, Nunez Roches, Nacho, he'll still make it the roster. I still think that 100%. So We'll see. Stranger things have happened. He could be the surprise cut. Last one, linebacker KJ Cloyd with the 55.6. Another guy that, quite frankly, I don't think will make it. So, listen, though, let's be honest. The guys who probably had the biggest preseason are two guys on offense. And that is 100% Jaxson Dart and Dante Turbo Miller. Those are the guys that, to me, had the biggest preseason. Because going into preseason, Turbo Miller wasn't a guy that was probably going to make the roster. Let's be honest. We're probably not going to keep him. He's played his way onto the roster. And Jaxson Dart, to me, has had one of the most impressive preseasons you could possibly see of a rookie quarterback. His career is starting off as great as it could be. So, listen, hopefully it's all up from there. But we'll see there. But like I said, it's exciting time to be a New York Giants fan. It's been a long, long time since we've been able to say that. So,
thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the Goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.